Welcome to the Asshole Podcast. Let's get into it. Today, we're going to be talking about what is the meanest thing you've said or done on a date. This is going to be a juicy episode, so let's get into it. Am I the asshole for making a cruel comment on a date? I, 25 male, recently went on a date with a woman, 24 female, I met through a mutual friend. The date was going well at first. We were having a good conversation, laughing, and seemed to be hitting it off. However, things took a dark turn when we started talking about our hobbies. She mentioned that she was passionate about painting and showed me some of her artwork on her phone. Honestly, I wasn't very impressed by her paintings, but I didn't want to be rude. However, I made a huge mistake when I tried to make a joke to lighten the mood. I said, "Wow, your paintings are definitely unique in their own way." Her face fell, and it was clear that my comment hurt her feelings. She asked me what I meant, and I tried to backtrack and say I meant they were different from anything I've seen before, but it was too late. The damage was done. She seemed really upset and didn't engage in the conversation much after that. I felt terrible about my thoughtlessness comment and I tried to salvage the date, but the atmosphere had changed completely. She ended the date early, saying she had some other things to do. Oh, no. I could tell she was upset with me, and I couldn't blame her. Later, when I told my friend about what happened, they scolded me and said I was being a jerk for making that comment. No shit, dude. Now I'm wondering if I really messed up and whether I'm the asshole in this situation for making a cruel remark about her paintings. Ah, dude. Oh, that was an L. Oh, that was an L big time. Oh, just the fact that she was just like, okay, on second thought, I kind of got some stuff to do. I'll see you later. Oh, it was an L. It was an L. Look, okay. My thing is what he should have done. I get what he was trying to do. He was trying to kind of like make a lighthearted, comment, make it kind of funny so he wouldn't be cruel or like maybe fucked up to her or whatever. I get what he was trying to do. But I think he did it completely wrong. I really do. I think he did it completely wrong. He should have just maybe I would have just went the safe bet and been like, oh, wow, they look nice. Oh, I kind of like that one. I would have just picked out something that I genuinely like in the painting. Maybe I don't like the painting overall, but I could have easily been like, oh, I like this or I like that. You see what I mean? And I think that would have made things a little better in terms of like making her not feel bad about, her artwork or anything like that, or how you felt, because you could tell she genuinely like took his comment to heart. So she must have really liked the guy. And then, she's like, wow, you're just going to say something like that about me? You're not going to like support what I'm trying to do, whatever the case may be. That's kind of fucked up, no thanks. I think I'm going to go. And he could have just went the safe bet and been like, it looks great. I like this about it. I like that about it. I think that's what he could have done, and that would have salvaged that date. He even tried to salvage it too, by kind of just keeping the night going and keeping it very lighthearted. But I think since it was her passion and it was something that she loved to do, I think she was just not about it. She was like, nah, bruh, you're not the guy that I want to continue, dating or seeing. Whew, that was an L. All right, next scenario. Am I the asshole for making a cruel remark on a date? I, 27 male, recently went on a date with a girl, 24 female, I had met through mutual friends. Things were going well until we got into a disagreement about a certain topic. We were having a friendly debate, but it escalated, and I said something hurtful in the heat of the moment. The hell are you having a debate for on a date? Like, what? What are you doing? Why are you having a debate with a girl on a date? The topic was about climate change. Oh no. What the fuck? What are you doing? And now look at it like this. Guys, never bring up political or religious things up on a date. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Now, I understand from the woman's perspective, sometimes, women will ask, oh, are you religious or whatever? And to that, I would just give a simple answer. Something simple where it's just like, oh, yeah, I believe in it. No, I don't. You know what I mean? If she asks you to go into it a little bit, keep it simple. Keep it just completely vague. Don't add an opinion in there. Don't even make it debatey. Like, that is just an L. Don't ever. And then you as the guy should never bring any of that stuff up. I get it. A girl will sometimes bring these kind of things up. She may be kind of very liberal, or she maybe have strong leftist views or anything like that. And she wants to know like your idea, but still keep it light. Damn, that's an L, bro. Oh man. The topic was about climate change, and I was passionate about the need for immediate action. She had a different perspective, and as the conversation got more intense, I blurted out, you clearly don't care about the planet's future as much as you care about your own convenience. Yeah, he was the dumbass that brought it up. See what I mean, guys? Don't bring this shit up. Just don't. If she's maybe a leftist girl and you're, more right-wing conservative, whatever, just leave it alone. Man, you know what I mean? And you can find out if her views don't align with yours with other ways. You guys don't have to get into like friendly debates and all this kind of shit, because it's not going to stay friendly. And it's one of those things where you simply should just end that date. I wouldn't end it, but just, you go through the date, whatever, and then just don't talk to that person again. I mean, it's simple as that. Or you could even just be like, I kind of have different political views. I don't really think this is going to work out. We might fight too much, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't know why people feel like they got to debate that at the fucking dinner table and shit. Like, what are you doing, bro? Her expression changed from surprise to hurt, and I immediately regret my words. The mood of the date shifted dramatically, and she became visibly upset. She told me that my comment was uncalled for and offensive, and she was right. I tried to apologize and explain that I didn't mean to be so harsh, but the damage was done. No shit. She left shortly after, and I haven't heard from her since. Reflecting on the situation, I felt terrible for letting my emotions get the best of me and saying something so cruel. I know it was uncalled for, and I deeply regret hurting her feelings. Now I'm wondering if I'm the asshole for making such a mean remark during our date, potentially ruining any chance of a connection. I mean, okay, you guys were having a fucking debate on a date. You guys didn't have no connection. Let's keep it honest, all right? That date was an L from the beginning, and you know it. It's as simple as that. That date was an L from the beginning because you guys were debating instead of getting to know each other. You guys got into a stupid-ass political argument instead of enjoying the time together and trying to be, like, romantic and, again, get to know each other, get to be, show interest in each other, things like that. It's like, what are you guys doing? I mean, sure, have your opinions on these things, and that's fine. Have your political views and your religious views and all this good stuff. Have that. Do what you want to do, and that's great. But on a first date, I don't see the benefit in that. I don't see the benefit in them having a friendly debate. I don't see the benefit in them talking about such a serious topic on a first date. Like, why are you going that deep into something? I mean, man, that's for when you guys are dating and together and maybe you know a little more about each other and all this kind of stuff. But other than that, man, that was an L. That was an obvious L. And like I said in the beginning of the scenario, guys, don't bring that type of shit up. And if the girl brings it up, keep it simple. And if your views don't align with hers, that's totally fine. Simply just, that's it. That's the date. I don't plan to see you again, because that's probably the easiest thing to do, is just be like, look, I don't want to be fighting with a bitch, all day long over political views and shit like that. So she can have her political views and I will respect that, whatever the case may be, but I'm not going to deal with it and I won't date you. It's as simple as that. I mean, he could have just kept it more simple, but he decided to get into a debate with her on a date and, then he took the L, is what it is. All right, next one. Am I the asshole for making a hurtful comment on a date? I, 25 male, went on a date with someone I met online. We were having her 24 female, were having a pretty good time and conversation was flowing. However, at one point we started talking about our interests and hobbies. She mentioned that she was really into painting and had been doing it for years. In attempt to tease and be playful, I said something like, "Oh, so you must have tons of free time to paint since it's not exactly a high demand skill, right?" Okay. All right. I thought it was just a lighthearted joke, but her smile faded instantly and she looked hurt, and I realized that my comment might have come across as condescending and dismissive of her passion. She brushed it off and changed the topic, but the atmosphere felt awkward for the rest of the date. After the date, I couldn't help but feel bad about what I said, realizing that my attempt at humor was insensitive and belittling towards something she clearly cared about. I sent her a text apologizing for the comment and explained that I didn't mean to hurt her feelings. She responded, said she appreciates the apology but was taken aback by my comment. She also mentioned that she was proud of her painting skills and the effort she put into it. She didn't say whether she wanted to see me again, and I haven't heard from her since. Yeah, you ghosted. So am I the asshole for making a hurtful comment about her passion during the date, or was it just a harmless joke that she took too serious? I don't know, man. I'm going to have to get you guys' opinions on this one because that is a little tough. I mean, on one hand, he was just meaning it as a joke, and I think she kind of later on took it as a joke, but I don't know. I think it was after the date he apologized. Then she was like, "Oh, okay, it was just a thing. Like, why didn't he just say that in the beginning? But at the same point, why did he say that at all? And so I think for her, that's what kind of messed her up and was making her so upset, because she was just like, why even just say that at all? Like, you could have just said something nice and that was that, or you could have said something funny like you wanted to, but you didn't have to go maybe that serious about it, I guess, because it kind of sounded condescending and serious. If I'm being honest with you, I don't really see how that would sound funny. He could have just left it at like, "Oh, you must have a lot of time to paint then." He could have just left it at that, but instead he kind of tacked on the whole like, "Oh, it must not be a high demand skill." It's like, like, what you didn't have to go that far. You didn't have to do all that. Like, what are you doing, bro? So that's where I'm kind of like in between. I'm at odds, because he could have simply left that ending part off the joke and just been like, "Oh my God, you must have a lot of time to paint, huh?" And I think she would have just been like, "Yeah, I mean, I spend all this time, blah, blah, blah." It would have just been a little more of a lighter hearted scenario in that way. I don't think she would have been so hurt by it. She would have more have taken it and been like, "Okay, like, yeah, I do have a lot of time into it, and stuff like that." And they could have kind of laughed about it. But yeah, that was just oof. And then he's just like, "Oh, I haven't heard from her since then." Yeah, bro, you're ghosted. She was that. I mean, I'm surprised she didn't leave early. She didn't leave early on the date. She kind of was like, "Okay, well, I'm going to just go through the date with him and see if things maybe get better and see if my opinion changes of him." And I just don't think that he did something or, made the date well enough to where he could have changed something for her, to kind of excuse that. I think it was just kind of like, she looked at it like, yeah, nothing's going to get better. This guy is just kind of whack. So It was an L on his end. I mean, sometimes you kind of got to think about what you say before you say it. And that might help you out a lot in these scenarios. So let's get on to the next one. Am I the asshole for making a cruel comment on a date? I, 25 male, recently went on a date with a girl, 24 female, that I met through mutual friends. We've been having a good time and seemed to be getting along well until the topic of our interests. She mentioned that she was really passionate about painting, even though... okay. She mentioned that she was really passionate about painting, and man, a lot of girls are into painting, I guess. Okay, about painting, and she even showed me a picture of her artwork on her phone. Now, I'm really into art, and honestly, I've never been good at understanding it I'm not really into art. Okay, he's not really into art. And honestly, I've never been good at understanding it or appreciating it. But instead of just being polite and supportive, I made a sarcastic comment like, "Oh, so you like painting with colors like a little kid? That must be fun." Oh, you guys are just so fucking cringy. It's bad. Why would you even say that? Like, that's just insulting in itself. Like, what are you doing, man? I didn't really mean for it to come out as mean as it did, but her expression immediately changed and I could tell she was hurt. She tried to brush it off, but the atmosphere became awkward and the rest of the date was pretty uncomfortable. I could see that my comment had dampened her enthusiasm and I felt terrible about it afterward. I tried to apologize, but it was clear that the damage was done. Now I can't help but wonder if I was the asshole for making the thoughtless comment. No shit you are, dude. I know I should have been more considerate of her feelings and her passion, even if it's something I don't personally understand. So am I the asshole for ruining the mood and potentially hurting her with my insensitive remark? Yes, you're the asshole. And it's so dumb how these guys will make these really dumb mistakes, knowing that they're dumb mistakes, and then text her afterward or realize it afterward, you know? And then these dumbasses are at home on their computer talking to Reddit people talking about, am I the asshole for saying this obviously stupid ass fucking thing? Like, no shit, bro. Like, what? Do you want people to read this shit and be like, no, you're not the asshole. She was overreacting. No, forget her. She was just overreacting. She's just a dumb bitch. Oh, forget her. She's one of those chicks that just does art all day and has no skills. You know, like, maybe there'll be some guys out there that'll say that. Maybe. But for the majority of people, they're going to just be like, bro, the date was going well and then you fucked it up. I mean, I'm going to just keep it honest with you. I'm going to just keep it hundo P. The date was going well, and then you fucked it up. And you even said it. You were like, instead of just being polite and supportive, you know, like, bro, you knew what you needed to say in that scenario, and you didn't. So it's like, who really is to blame in this situation? You or her? Obviously you, because you had a cognizant idea of how you should have answered that question, and yet you said, nah, I'm gonna just belittle the fuck out of her. Man, you like doing colors like a little kid, don't you? Ha ha ha. Like, and then another thing is I like to preference, you know, I've done it in a previous episode. I preference that when you're talking to a girl and you have the kind of that initial first conversation with her, gauge her humor. So that way, when it is time for you to be funny and kind of lean into your like your more unique side, you can kind of gauge and tailor the jokes to her sense of humor. You know what I mean? If she's the type of girl that likes sarcastic humor, then great. You can kind of tailor your jokes into that sarcastic humor. If she doesn't like that sarcastic humor, maybe you're going to want to tailor your jokes in a different way. And it's just, oh, man, you guys are L's. Oh, that's just terrible. So, all right. Am I the asshole for making a hurtful comment on a date? I, 25 male. Damn, we got a lot of 25 males here. I, 25 male, recently went on a date with a woman, 24 female, I met through a dating app. We were having a pretty good time, laughing and getting to know each other. However, things took a turn when we started talking about our interests. Wow, it's always the interests. I wonder if this girl's going to be in art. She mentioned that she's really into painting and spends a lot of her free time creating art. I, being a bit of a skeptic when it comes to artistic pursuits, made a careless comment along the lines of, "Oh, so you're one of those starving artist types." She looked hurt and taken aback, and I immediately realized I had struck a nerve. She explained that she's passionate about her art and that she's been working hard to build her career as a painter. She told me how hurtful my comment was, and as it seemed like I was belittling her dreams and efforts. I felt terrible for what I said and tried to apologize, but the damage was done. The mood of the date had shifted and she seemed distant for the rest of the evening. I could tell that I had to hurt her feelings deeply, and I regretted my thoughtless remark. Later, I texted her apologizing again and explained that I didn't mean to hurt her. She replied saying that she would appreciate the apology. My comment made her doubt whether we were compatible. She felt my attitude toward her passion was a red flag for potential insensitivity in the future. Now I'm left wondering if I'm the asshole for making the thoughtless comment and potentially ruining a chance and meaningful connection. Should I have been more considerate, or was my comment blown out of proportion? At least she didn't ghost him. That was nice. She simply said, hey, I doubt we're compatible, and it was a red flag on your end for possible insecurity or insensitivity in the future. I like that. I like that she just kind of ended it and was like, hey, look, this ain't for me, Chief. You're just not the guy for me. That's it. And I do like that. I do appreciate that, because a lot of girls are just going to ghost you like the other guys. But it's like, first off, what is up with all these girls liking art? Damn, is that a new thing going on or what? I have no idea. Two, it's kind of wild how, even if you're a skeptic of something, like me, I'm the type of person that I'm very skeptic of people going to school college for dumb things like journalism, photography, economy and all that kind of stuff, communications, shit like that. Like, if you're going to go to college for something that's going to get you a job coming out of college. I mean, come on now, let's be honest here. Why are you going to spend all that money and go through all that painstaking years of doing homework and all that bullshit to get a fucking degree on something useless? I'm right there with you. I'm a skeptic on whole arts degree and all that kind of stuff too. I'm gonna keep it under P. But it's like, if these people want to do that stuff, I mean, who am I or even you or anyone telling them that they shouldn't do it? I mean, let them. At this point, if they have a passion for something that's pretty much useless in the world, let them do it. My thing is if I was on that date, or even with any of these girls who like art, or it's their passion or whatever, I simply would just be like, that's great. Except for the one girl where, she got into the fucking political debate about climate. I mean, that dude was fucking stupid. But for the most part, these have been all about art. But so, for me, I would have just looked at it like I would have done the whole fake support thing. And then, I would have just kind of moved on at that point. Like, what's the point of, I guess giving your opinion verbatim, where it's like you give your opinion, but you kind of give it like half-assed and shit, and you try to hide it under skepticism. You try to hide it under a joke. You try to hide it under sarcasm. What's the point? You know what I mean? Just go ahead and give them the small support, even if you don't believe in it, and just keep it pushing, because then it's like, it's not awkward. You guys could focus on other things on the date, and it's not awkward, and you guys aren't thinking about that horrible thing you said in the beginning of the date the entire time, and that's how I see it. It's just like, why go through all that, and why do that? So All right. Well, we got our last one for Am I the Asshole for Making a Cruel Comment? Let's see here. I, 25 male, went on a date with a girl, 24 female, I had been talking to online for a while. We met up at a cozy coffee shop and things were going well. We were laughing, sharing stories, and getting to know each other better. However, there was a moment when I let my guard down and said something that I instantly regretted. During our conversation, she mentioned that she was passionate about painting and that she had a small art exhibit coming up. I wanted to show interest, so I asked to see some of her work. She pulled out her phone and started showing me pictures of her paintings. While scrolling through, I saw one that wasn't as impressive as the others. Without really thinking, I blurted out, "Wow, this one looks like something a kid would do." Her face fell and she seemed hurt by the comment. I immediately realized how mean and thoughtless the words were, and I tried to backtrack and apologize. I told her that I didn't mean it in that way, and that I actually thought her art was amazing. But the damage was done. The mood had changed, and the rest of the date felt awkward and strained, and I could tell I had hurt her feelings, and I felt terrible about it. She didn't say much of the rest of the date, and when we said our goodbyes, it was clear that the connection earlier was gone. Later, I couldn't stop beating myself up over what I said. I know what I should have been, or that I should have been more considerate and sensitive in the choice of words, especially when she was sharing something she cared about deeply. I felt like a total asshole for ruining what could have been a great date and for hurting her feelings. So am I the asshole for making a cruel comment about one of her paintings and potentially ruining our date? Or can I learn from this mistake and make things right? Dang, man. And, he was starting out good, too. He was starting out good because he was like, "Oh, wow, I like all this. Your art looks so good." And, she's not like the other chicks where she's just like, "Oh, I just like doing art." No, she actually got into an exhibit, which is great. And again, it's just one of those things where you enjoyed all the art. Even if you saw one you didn't like, you could have simply just been like, "Oh, what's that one?" Because maybe it's even a piece that she didn't even like. And it's the fact that you kind of just openly fucking blurted it out. Or it could have been a piece that meant like a lot to her. And the thing is what you could have done is just been like, "Oh, what is that one about?" And she could tell you, and then you can kind of gauge your response based on that. Instead, these guys are not thinking, and they're just blurting out a response, and it's like, what are you doing? And then they realize it later, and it's like, with her, though, it seemed like, she might give him the benefit of the doubt and give him a second date, just because she was willing to kind of just like move on and change the subject and keep it going. And so, that was a good thing, but, yeah, all I can say is good luck on that one, guy, because, man, these guys always start off so good, and then it goes so bad. Oh, my goodness, but that's going to go ahead and wrap up today's episode. Thank you guys so much. We had a lot of juicy ones today. You guys go ahead and comment and tell me what you guys think about all the scenarios we went over today. If you guys don't have time for a full podcast, don't worry about it. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Am I the Asshole Podcast, as well as Patreon at Am I the Asshole Podcast. And on Patreon, you will get exclusive episodes and the ability to write in your scenario and have it featured on the show. Thank you guys so much, and peace.